Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nigel Ivy. I'm an elopement videographer based in Ireland, and I specialize in intimate weddings, adventure elopements, all of that sort of good stuff. And as I mentioned, I'm based in Ireland, so I do a lot of shooting in Ireland. I help couples to plan their dream elopements here in Ireland, but I also shoot abroad all over Europe, and I love helping couples to plan their dream elopements. So this channel is really for that purpose. It's to help couples that are on that journey of planning that elopement and to give them resources, how-tos, tips and tricks, stuff that I've learned and experienced just through shooting elopements with couples and helping them to plan them, and just learning from the experience that I have really. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Europe specifically and eloping in Europe, because there's probably not many places as diverse as Europe in terms of options to choose from, and that's what I want to help you to just give some thought to in terms of what do I actually want in my elopement. So I guess the first thing is to think about is, what style of elopement do you want when you're planning to elope in Europe? So you have so many options, right from, if you think of like Santorini, the Mediterranean, sort of those tropical island type sort of beach, seaside, those sort of vibes, if that's the type of thing that you're after. And you can also go as diverse as somewhere like the Dolomites or Ireland if you want something really green and sort of landscape picturesque, the Isle of Skye in Scotland, Glencoe in Scotland, even the Faroe Islands. And the beautiful thing about Europe is that because it's relatively small and easy to travel around, you could really elope in any of those locations and add on another place that's epic. So for example, you could elope somewhere like Lake Garda in Italy, and then you could go to the Dolomites or something like that, or you could elope somewhere like Santorini and then hop across to the Alps or somewhere epic like that. So you could really tie in a bunch of different locations. Obviously you have the logistics around that you need to think about in terms of if you want the same videographer or photographer shooting two different locations, and obviously the additional expenses of paying for their travel and all that sort of stuff. But there's so many options, and Europe is so diverse. You could have a city-based elopement like in Paris or something like that, or London. So yeah, the possibilities are endless, but I thought I would just give you kind of the process that I would go through in terms of picking an elopement or a location and the style of elopement that you want. So the first thing that I would ask myself is probably what type of elopement do I want? So do I want something that's like luxury, romantic, sort of like Santorini style, that sort of vibe where you kind of have a terrace elopement overlooking at just a grand view of the ocean with an epic sunset? That sort of scene is beautiful and it's epic, but that may not necessarily be what you want. But what do I actually want from my elopement? Do I want it to be like a big hiking one? So if you're somebody that's into hiking, outdoors, things like that, then maybe the Santorini option isn't for you. So maybe then you want something like in the Dolomites where you're hiking big distances, or in the Alps, or in Ireland somewhere, or Faroe Islands, something like that. Maybe you want somewhere that's just landscape, nature, beautiful natural views and lots of grass and greenery and things like that. So maybe that's the type of vibe that you're after. Or maybe you want something that's really city based. So maybe you want to do something in Paris or London, or somewhere that has, in a city that has loads of history and culture and all those sort of things. Or maybe you just want a quaint little like Italian seaside town type vibe in an Airbnb, somewhere really chill, relaxed, where you can go to a nice little local cafe, have some pastries, all of those sort of wonderful things. Or Rome, maybe that's a beautiful thought as well, eloping in Rome and all of the options that you could have in Rome. In a nutshell, the first thing to choose is what type of elopement you want. And like I said, you don't have to just have one. If you wanted to break it up over a few days, or over like a road trip type, or like multi-destination type trip, then that's would be awesome. But the first thing that you need to consider is, what type of elopement do you want? the second thing I would consider is who you want in your elopement team, or the team that's delivering your elopement. And I think that that's important if those sort of details are a priority for you. So for example, if the imagery is really important to you, then you really need to consider who do you want videoing and who do you want photographing your elopement, and make sure that you can get those people to the destination. And sometimes these sort of things have a bearing on where you choose. For example, if you want somebody epic in Ireland that can capture your video, then Ireland may be the best option for you to choose from a cost perspective, or it may be that your videographer from Ireland can travel elsewhere and go to Santorini, Greece, or wherever you choose to elope, and vice versa with photography or any other vendors that you might want as part of your elopement team. Make sure that you consider that when you're in the process of choosing where you want to elope. If imagery and stuff like that is not important to you at all, and you just want to have the experience and then anybody can capture your experience, then that's fine too. Then choose the place based on the best place for you, and don't even consider the rest of it. But I would definitely think about, if you're eloping somewhere awesome and you want to elope somewhere awesome, if you really want somewhere, a specific vendor involved in that process, then make sure you include them as you go through the process of deciding where you're going to elope. Because most vendors that I know, photographers, videographers, would love the opportunity to engage with couples before they even set their destination. So I sometimes have couples that will reach out to me and say, hey, I really want you to capture our elopement, and this is the kind of vibe that we want. So we want something that's Mediterranean, romantic, luxury, kind of a terrace elopement, somewhere like Santorini, that sort of thing. Would you be able to be involved in that? Do you have any experience in shooting in Santorini? Do you have any contacts there? All of that sort of stuff. So fortunately I do, and I'm able to help with that process. But yeah, so some vendors may not necessarily have that, but they would love the opportunity to be involved in it. Some vendors may say, well, actually, I don't shoot abroad at all, so Ireland is your only option if you want me to capture your elopement. And so those are the things to consider. And then thirdly, obviously, would just be around the logistics. For example, the Faroe Islands, there's very limited flights that go in and out of there. So I think there's only like a couple of airlines that fly into the Faroes, and they only fly like 1 or 2 flights a day. So you got to think of the logistics in terms of flights and availability and all of those sort of things. And if you are eloping somewhere like Santorini, then there's not a lot of direct flights into there from big airlines. Generally, you're flying through somewhere like Greece. And if you're wanting to tag on like another destination as part of your elopement, so if you wanted to have like the ceremony in Santorini, say, and then you wanted to go to the Dolomites, or you wanted to go to the Faroe Islands and tag that on, just consider that you're going to be spending a lot of time traveling between some of those more remote locations. So like Santorini, I believe most of the airlines you fly with, you have to fly through Athens or through another bigger city. So you might be flying Santorini to a bigger city, and then to another city, and then to like the Faroe Islands type thing. So it might be like a 3-leg journey just to do that little hop to a new location. So just consider the logistics around it as well. But on the whole, I mean, Europe has so many options. There are literally endless options. And I'll do a video in terms of the destination, so keep a lookout for that. If you found this video helpful or interesting, or you just liked some of what I said, then make sure you check out the other videos that I have on this channel. As I mentioned, this is a resource base for couples that are eloping. So it's intended to help couples that are on that journey. And I try and make videos that are helpful and useful. If you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions, or any videos that you think I should make or talk about, then leave a comment down below, and I would love to hear from you on that, because I want to make sure that all of these videos are useful and add value to you on that journey. And as I mentioned previously, I help couples to plan elopements all over the place, and especially in Europe. So if you're interested in talking to me about that journey, or if you just have any questions about stuff you should think about, or helping you sort of getting started on that journey, then reach out to me, send me a direct message on Instagram, and I'd love to hear from you. But otherwise, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much.